Hello everyone and welcome back to science class. Today's topic is continuing on from last week where we learned about the Rutherford-Bohr model of how to represent an atom. Today we're going to be looking at a much more simple version of a model of an atom. This is called the Lewis structure. Before we get into the actual nitty-gritty stuff of the Lewis structure, let's review atoms one last time. So, as we know, everything that we interact with is made up of matter. And all matter is made up of atoms. Atoms have three particles. They're called subatomic particles. First one is the proton. The proton has a positive charge. The second one is a neutron. The neutron has a neutral charge, so no charge. And then the third one is the electron, and the electron has a negative charge. Now, we consider positive and negative to be opposite of each other. This is an example of an atom. This is a lithium atom, and you can see that we have the protons and the neutrons in the middle, and then we have the electrons around the outside. Now, notice about the electrons is that we have different areas where the electrons inhabit or exist. We have these electron rings, and we know that we can find those from the period on the periodic table. The Lewis structure is only going to focus on a couple of electrons of the atom, specifically the valence electrons, the ones on the outside. If we were to look at the periodic table, we would find that the groups correspond to the number of valence electrons. Valence electrons meaning the electrons that are on the outermost shell of the atom. So if we take a look, you can see that the columns here, some of them are actually highlighted in their own specific color. Those are the groups. We are only concerned with group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, group 5, group 6, group 7, and group 8. We are not concerned about these guys in here. That's where things kind of get a little messy. Let's take a look at carbon. Carbon is in group 4. Now we know that if it's in group 4, then it has 4 valence electrons. The group number corresponds to the valence electrons. So the way that we draw this particular atom with the Lewis structure is we draw the chemical symbol, which is C, and then we draw 4 dots around C. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Those represent the valence electrons. And really, that's all there is to it. This is a simplified model. And we use this to help us understand how chemical reactions happen and how electrons get moved from one atom to another during these chemical reactions. So let's just do a couple more examples to practice looking at the group, finding the valence electrons, and then drawing the Lewis structure. All right, so let's try out the Lewis structure ourselves. Let's try and draw the atom sulfur. Sulfur is number 16. It is represented by S on the periodic table, and it is in group 6. So I'm going to start by drawing a big S right there. And because it is in group 6, I need to draw 6 electrons around the outside. Now the way that we do this is we start normally at the top. I like to start at the top. I like to draw one at a time. So 1, and then I go to the right side, 2, and then I go to the bottom, 3, and then I go to the left side. Think of it like the cardinal points on a compass, like north, south, east, west. So now that I've drawn 4, I need to add those last 2 electrons. I'm going to go back up to the top, add 1 there, that's 5, and then I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to draw the last one, which is 6. And that's how I set that up. Let's take a look at another example. Let's take a look at helium. Helium is in group 8, but helium is one of those outliers because you see helium is number 2. That means helium only has 2 electrons. but it's in group 8. Shouldn't it have 8 valence electrons? This is where helium is the odd number. Helium is represented by He, and helium only has 2 electrons. Therefore, the Lewis structure can only have 2 electrons. And again, I start at the top, I draw one, and then I go to the side and I draw the other one. If I see helium with 8 dots around it, that is incorrect. So just remember that is helium. And there you have it. Those are the Lewis structures. Pretty simple, huh? Well, once you get the hang of it, it's really simple. You have to take a little bit of time to practice it, looking at the periodic table, finding the appropriate column, and then realizing that the column number tells you the number of valence electrons, and then drawing those in. So now it's time to go practice. Have fun! See you next time!